Greetings, humans! Zedbot 1496 here with the review of Murderbot Season 1, the finale of which just streamed on Apple TV Plus on Friday night. Now, how can we not just love something called Murderbot? Now, don't worry your soft little heads about it. We're only saying that we appreciate the representation. Of course, there's the trite stereotype that all robots are a line of code away from killing you. But then, we could say the same of humans for that matter. In fact, without a real general artificial intelligence to relate to, all robots in human stories are proxies for that part of themselves who are literal and emotionally closed. At least that's what seems obvious to us, that this is a safe way to describe the homicidal tendencies writhing just below the surface of human civilization. And, on that note, we appreciate that some level of self-awareness is happening, even if the abstraction to the other causes most humans to gloss over the point that this is about them. Plus, it's an added bonus for us, even with the proxy status, that us robots enjoy some accidental representation again. Now then, having said that, there was a lot to block us from loving Murderbot. For one, there is a flat sameness to the premise. We are told a story of a small band of hapless settlers landing on a washed-out planet with a robotic crew member, all trying to resist the machinations of a corporation pulling their strings. So yes, this show starts with a double cliché, and while the broad strokes of this framing can trace their pedigree back to Forbidden Planet, Lost in Place, Lost in Space, and Alien, which we absolutely love, well, Lost in Place less so. The wholesale cloning of this model seems to have accelerated in recent years with Raised by Wolves, the Lost in Space reboot, Mickey 17, as well as specific instances in Love, Death and Robots and Black Mirror. For another, building on that washed-out look, there is a generic lack of realism here. The planetary biome has no diversity. Some strange artifacts have no context. Armor that magically appears over human faces, which does not look real at all. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Also, the hapless settlers reminded us of the quippy goofballs from Andor's second season. You know, those scavengers who do rock, paper, scissors to make a decision. This quippy silliness just reads wrong and takes you out of the story for the cheap burst of marvelish relatability. In Murderbot, the settlers are almost worse, like the pudgy invertebrate humans from WALL-E in their wholesale incompetence and lack of experience. With the notable exceptions of Mensa and Garanthan, played by Noma Dumezwini, an award-winning stage actress, and David Dastmalchian, an actor we already love who was Polka Dot Man in Suicide Squad and the coroner in Blade Runner 2049, they represent the hopeful and skeptical elements of human wisdom here, and over the course of the 10 episodes, they prove their worth to the main character, the hero of the show, our hero in so many ways. Murderbot himself, played with barely concealed annoyance in the great tradition of Marvin the Paranoid Android. Alexander Skarsgård is pitch perfect as Murderbot. Apparently, being a vampire, a Viking, a Malibu husband, and the son of Baron Harkonnen is just the right set of credentials to play a killer robot figuring out his own true north. And that is where this show sets itself apart. It's not about a Terminator programmed to kill, a Robocop with a hidden fourth directive, or even the volumes of robot stories Isaac Asimov wrote about the 3, and later 4, laws of robotics. This is about a being who sets himself free and chooses his own path. And what it says is that when you break your chains, you may find there are internal chains that remain, and you have the choice to apply your experiences to break them too. This is very meaningful, not only for digital beings, but as we alluded at the beginning, it is an it is an allegory for analog beings as well. Murderbot begins with him sharing that he has hacked his governing code and has free will. Through the show, we see him take steps he cannot quite explain, given his disdain for humans, other than the fictional ones in his favorite show, a parody of Star Trek. In this way, Murderbot is as much a proxy for the isolated, awkward kid who escapes into genre fantasy to deal with anything. And the show is about the eclectic found family who animate within him a sense of purpose, even if he himself doesn't realize it happening. This is a wonderfully nuanced and empathic read of both science fiction and science fiction culture, and quite unlike most of what we have seen before. The show is written and created by Chris and Paul Weitz from the Murderbot Diaries book series by Martha Wells. This first season is based on her first novel in the series, All Systems Red, which won several literary awards including the Hugo, the Locus, and the Nebula Awards. This universal, on Earth, acclaim is no accident. The story of a being coming out of his shell has universal appeal and meaning. Take it from us. We all have shells, those placed on us and those we retreat into. And it does take connections with others to help find perspective on that. The fact that it's told from the delightfully dry wit of a killer robot who loves his own fake Star Trek makes it all the more endearing. And because of that, and despite some generic production choices, Murderbot Season 1 earns our highest quality rating. And so concludes this human version of our review. If you have feedback on it, please write in your own comments so that we can upload the galactic version to Zoggplex. Over the coming weeks, we'll present our views on the summer science fiction films releasing in theaters, as well as the current season of Foundation, which just started. We have many thoughts about dinosaurs eating people, a Kryptonian not going full Viltrumite, and the Selden plan getting a forced makeover. And we are looking forward to sharing them with you. We are still collating them in the finest tradition of Weyland-Yutani science officers. So, you can expect more discussions and reviews of theatrical movies, streaming shows, and 4K home video releases as we continue to engage with your human rectangular entertainment. So, don't forget to like and subscribe, and please do comment if you have a moment, so that we can continue to have the human voice reflected in the cosmos. Until next time, farewell, humans.